Well, hey, it's Tina Konstant here. Welcome to Waffle-Free Storytelling. As usual, we're going to jump right into the story because you know the waffle is down in the show notes. So today's story is all about Dimini. She sat under a thick, thorny green bush and watched the world go by. It was a busy world, full of loud, aggressive, sharp words and actions that, quite honestly, Dimini just didn't understand. And so she hid. It wasn't that she was shy or scared, but she was small. And she didn't hide under the bush to be invisible, but rather to stay safe. As she got older, the world, as you can imagine, got louder. And so Dimini's hiding place got better, and eventually she was hidden behind the leaves and vines, thorns and thickets, deep inside a cave where it was warm and dry. Now, Dimini didn't sit in her cave and do nothing. What she did as she watched the world go by was spot the things she didn't understand. Then she built a model of that thing inside her cave, using mud and clay, which she would shape and mold and bend and carve until she understood how that thing worked. It was just her way of coping, of working things out. And so it was that Dimini grew up in her cave, where it was quiet and safe, untouched and protected, learning at her own pace and in her own way. But the world knew she was there, and the world was a possessive, greedy thing with long fingers, and as Dimini grew, so the world tried to draw her out of her hiding place. Bit by bit, the world stripped away the branches, the thorns, the vines, the thicket, the leaves, until Dimini's cave was completely exposed. At first, Dimini panicked. Then, to protect what she had built, she swallowed all of the shapes and molds of mud and clay. With it all safe in her belly, Dimini ran from her cave and joined the stream, the noise, the clamour and the chaos of the world, hoping to hide in that. Everything was new to her. The world was faster and louder and harder than she imagined it would be. So after she had taken as much confusion as she thought she could take, Dimini did something she would never have done in her cave. She invited the world into her home to talk. The world accepted her invitation, but it wasn't in the mood for a conversation. Instead, as soon as it walked through her front door, it shouted and cursed and yelled and screamed and shook and demanded obedience. It made so much noise that Dimini had no choice but to sit in silence and let the barrage flow over and through her. But sitting in silence didn't mean compliance. No. The world was so hard and so rude that frustration welled up in Dimini's gut, causing a heat in her heart and her soul that would soon be more than she could bear. But still, the world kept shouting and bellowing and spitting with no pause and no space and no thought. Dimini was just about to stand up and shout and yell back when she felt a pain in her heart and she paused. The world was never going to stop, she realized. It wouldn't matter how loud Dimini yelled, it would never listen. And so Dimini, accepting that things were as they were, let the world break her teacups, take up her space, burn holes in her curtains, rip up her floorboards. And while that happened, Dimini went inside herself, where the clay shapes that she had swallowed sat row upon row, baked hard by the fire, caused by the heat of her frustration. The fire had burned so hot that the shapes of mud and clay had become hard and solid, as real as the things in the world. It was then that Dimini finally understood. She took the heat in her belly. She lit a fire in the hearth. Then she opened her eyes and she looked at the world, seeing it for what it was. And she said in a whisper, "Once upon a time." And the world went quiet. Well, that's it from Waffle-Free Storytelling today. Have yourself a spectacularly peaceful, contented, glorious week, and I'll see you next time for random stuff in the universe. In the meantime, drop into the show notes, grab the waffle, or go visit www.tinakonstant.com, where you'll get a whole bunch of chat and other stuff. So I'll see you there. Hey. Biscuits later, Jack.